from food as a whole, we want to remember we don't necessarily want to exceed that 2.5 grams per kilogram per day. That would not have any additional benefits. For our vitamins and minerals, as we mentioned, if there's a deficiency, we can get that proven by symptoms or by lab work, and we want to correct that with supplementation as recommended, or we want to look at food and make sure that each person is consuming the right foods to meet their DRIs on a pretty regular basis. If somebody's getting what they need from food and they're supplementing a multivitamin, it's not likely that they're improving their athletic performance. Again, as we mentioned, athletes are more active. They may need to consume more energy from food, and then they get more vitamins when that occurs. So they may already be taking in more vitamins from food and don't need to then supplement. When we think of vitamin C or E, we think about those as our antioxidants. We might think of vitamin C to protect our immune system or to help with a cold. We really don't want to have excessive amounts of these because it's not beneficial and there could be potential toxicity effects. So we don't really want to go, again, above 2,000 milligrams per day for C and 1,000 milligrams per day for E. Quercetin is another supplement that is addressing our anti-inflammatory effects in athletes and looking at if this decreases inflammatory factors. Essentially, studies have shown that 1,000 milligrams a day for several weeks is not affecting in improving performance or preventing oxidative damage. But again, that's a safe dosage. If an athlete wanted to try something like this, there's no specific negative risk at this point of consuming that dosage. Chromium, this has been shown to not be effective in increasing muscle mass, decreasing body fat, and improving performance. That's one that's kind of been around a little bit more recently. And really, protein can be helpful if we can't get enough from food. Vitamins and minerals should be supplemented and can be helpful in improving performance if we have a deficiency. But otherwise, excess amounts of these things are not really beneficial like we might think. When we switch gears a little bit and we're looking at supplements that are unsafe and not effective, when we're looking at androstenedione, we can see that this is actually an unsafe supplement. The dosage is unknown because it is unsafe. Essentially, there's a short-term rise in testosterone when we take this supplement. However, there's no effect on muscle size, strength, or power. A side effect is that there can be increases in estradiol, which can result in the development of breasts in males. And again, essentially, this is unsafe, not effective, should not be recommended. When we're looking at DHEA as a supplement, this is one that the safety is kind of unknown. Again, there's not that necessarily recommended dosage by any means, but we want to, again, mention the effect as a performance enhancer. The DHEA is kind of known as a weak hormone or kind of a precursor, and is not under the banned steroid act itself, but still doesn't seem to show effectiveness. When we're looking at ephedra or ephedrine-containing supplements, this is one that was on the market. It was effective in weight loss, and people were taking it, and it was flying off the shelves, and then people started having heart issues and actually dying from consuming these ephedrine containing supplements. So the FDA, these were reported, the FDA investigated, and they banned any of these products. And there's a safety concern for anything less than 10 milligrams and less in general. And we don't ever want to recommend those for our athletes. Finally, when we look at the most recent sports nutrition recommendations, we can see that there's a couple other types of supplement categories added in here. We see sports foods, as we've talked about with our drinks, our bars, our gels, etc. These can be used and can be helpful for athletes and are often used as convenience to provide certain benefits, such as some carbohydrate during exercise, for instance, and they are effective, but we want to caution athletes of using them inappropriately and really if unneeded. Medical supplements, again, those might be what we mentioned, our vitamins, our minerals, etc. Same recommendation goes, that we want to make sure that we have the evidence of needing this supplement, so of a deficiency or a low level of some of these, and we want to have the appropriate professional recommend these, whether our doctor or dietitian. We want to make sure that we're just not self-prescribing these. One thing to mention as well, and I believe that we talked about it previously, but when we mention creatine, this is where we think of that phosphocreatine system. So creatine can actually improve performance with repeated bouts of high-intensity exercise that have short recovery periods. Sound familiar? It has a direct effect on our competition performance and enhanced capacity for training. So yeah, it is an ergogenic effect. It does increase creatine and phosphocreatine concentrations. It may enhance glycogen stores. It may have a direct effect on muscle protein synthesis. Still looking at some of this. But again, there are some concerns in that there's some acute weight gain. So if it's a weight-sensitive sport, that might be of some concern. May cause GI discomfort. Some products might not have the appropriate amount of creatine. So we want to look for kind of a pure product that we, as with any product, want to have our coaching staff review, again, to make sure that it's not containing any banned substances. So we talked about caffeine. I'm going to move over on that one. For sodium bicarbonate, this is one that, again, will help with the acid-base balance and can be taken pre-exercise with an acute dose and increases extracellular buffering capacity. So it can improve performance because it may lessen the acidity that may occur that could lead to fatigue. Another side effect may be GI distress. Again, that just depends on the athlete. Beta-alanine we mentioned, and then finally nitrate. Nitrate has been shown to improve exercise tolerance and economy. It's been shown to improve performance in endurance athletes who are non-athletes. We want to increase our plasma nitrate concentrations to increase the production of nitric oxide, and this can come specifically from concentrated sources of food. One very popular lately, beetroot juice. This may be something that the athlete has to get an acquired taste for. Maybe something that could cause GI discomfort. Might have some difference in tolerance for those, but this is promising as well. Again, to kind of bring this full circle, there are so many supplements out there. The ones we touched on today, probably only the tip of the iceberg. However, those are the ones that tend to be most well researched and supported by evidence as being potentially ergogenic, actually showing evidence in improving performance or decreasing time to fatigue, or that we know do not increase performance and are not safe and effective. So it will be important to look through these and look through, I believe it is page 518 and 519 in the sports nutrition guidelines that are posted in Blackboard and through these slides to identify what supplements you may actually recommend to clients looking at safety and efficacy and research. We want to pay attention to labels. I oftentimes will get athletes bringing in labels and say, is this an okay supplement to take? The first thing I want to look at is what it is, what it claims to do, and if there's